All right, so we're diving deep today, and you know I love a good story.
Me too. And you've brought us some really intriguing ones this time.
We've got, let's see, Colleen and the Leprechaun,
Yeah.
paired with Aladdin and the Wonderful Lamp, right?
That's right. And it's going to be fun to see what we can unpack, peel back the layers a bit.
Absolutely, and it's fiction we're dealing with here, but
Yeah.
there's always deeper stuff going on, right?
Mhm.
Folklore, cultural uh, beliefs about magic. Or
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Those themes are, they're everywhere, right? It makes you wonder why.
it really does, doesn't it? Like,
Mhm.
why are we so drawn to these kinds of stories, these magical encounters across so many different cultures too, you know? It's a human thing.
It is. It's universal, and that's what makes it so fascinating.
Exactly. So let's start with Colleen, shall we? Her first trip to Ireland, meeting the grandparents, the whole bit.
Yeah, so Colleen's 8 years old in the story, and it's her first time in Ireland, and right away her grandfather starts telling her all about Celtic fairies, getting her all prepped for the possibility of magic.
Oh, I love that, like he's giving her the insider's guide to the magical world.
Exactly, and he's especially cautious about the little people, the leprechauns.
Leprechauns. See, that's what gets me every time.
Classic
Oh,
grandma.
totally. And you know what I really appreciate about this book? They've included this really helpful glossary.
Oh, that's always good, especially with, folklore and stuff. The terms can be a bit tricky.
Exactly. So Celte, for instance, means anyone from the Celtic lands. So Irish, Scottish, Welsh.
Right, and then there's legend, which is basically an old story, might not be totally true, but, it gets passed down.
Like a legend, makes sense.
And then this is a good one, etosage, to be on the lookout, which is exactly what the grandfather's telling Colleen to do, right?
He's like, keep your eyes peeled, kiddo, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. He's preparing her, and there's also this question or like a thème de réflexion, as they call it in the book.
Ooh, fancy. A theme for reflection? I like it.
It is, and it asks, how can the stories of a region help us better understand the culture of the people who live there?
Ooh, deep. So it's inviting us to think about what these stories tell us about the Irish, about their culture.
Yeah, exactly. And that leads us right into this one particular legend, the story of Jacques Renard and the leprechaun.
Okay, hit me with it. What happens?
So Jacques Renard is walking along and he hears this sound, like a tapping sound near a hedge. And he's got this feeling, a soupçon, a suspicion.
Like a hunch. Something's up.
Yeah, and he peeks over the hedge, the hay, and sees this tiny leprechaun mending a tiny gold shoe, like hammering away at it.
That's adorable with the little leather apron and the pointy hat and
Oh
everything.
yeah, the whole 9 yards, and of course everyone's thinking about the pot of gold, right?
Of course, that's the leprechaun deal, isn't it? Find the end of the rainbow, get the gold.
That's the legend, and in the story, the leprechaun actually offers Jacques some water, like tries to distract him, get him to look away.
Tricky leprechaun. Trying to break that eye contact because you know the rule, right?
Exactly, you can't look away, not if you want the treasure. And the story makes a point of saying that Jacques wasn't dupe, wasn't fooled.
Smart man, keeping his eyes on the prize.
He is, and in the end, the leprechaun leads Jacques to a field full of dandelions, tells him the gold is buried under one of them.
Oh, but wait, didn't we say Jacques was just like walking along, no shovel, no nothing?
Yeah, he doesn't have a shovel, so he uses one of his socks to mark the dandelion. Smart thinking, right?
Yeah, in a pinch, why not? But I bet that doesn't go according to plan.
Oh, it so does not, because when Jacques gets back with a shovel, every single dandelion in the field has a sock on it.
No way, that sneaky little leprechaun.
He's good, and the best part is Jacques' wife, she just laughs and says, well, at least we won't need new socks for a while.
I love that. That's fantastic. It's like, what can you do?
Yeah.
You know, it's that mix of magic and humor.
Exactly, and that's what I think connects back to the theme about understanding a culture through its stories.
Right. So what's this story telling us about the Irish?
Well, it's got that belief in the supernatural, the fairies and leprechauns and all, but it's also got this lightheartedness, this trickery that's not like mean-spirited,
It's mischievous, playful, and the fact that everyone just laughs about it in the end, it's like they're used to it, they embrace it.
Exactly, it's part of their cultural fabric, their way of looking at the world, maybe.
That's a really interesting thought, you know. So we've explored a bit of Irish folklore. Now let's jump to a completely different part of the world with Aladdin, shall we? This story, man, it's got layers.
Oh, yeah, layers upon layers, and it's been told and retold in so many ways. Our source actually points out that it was originally
He was passed down orally, right, before it was written down.
Yeah. Exactly. So this Syrian storyteller, Hana Diab, he was the one who told it to Antoine Galland, a French writer, and Galland included it in Les Mille et Une Nuits ou Les Nuits d'Arabie, which is, the Arabian Nights.
Right, and that was way back in 1704, so we're talking centuries of storytelling tradition here.
We are. It's deeply embedded in Middle Eastern culture, and it's interesting to think about how it's traveled and evolved over time.
Absolutely, and our hero, Aladdin, he starts out in pretty rough circumstances, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. The story tells us he grew up poor, with just his mother after his father died.
So no silver spoon for Aladdin. He's going to make his own luck.
Definitely. And that's, a classic setup for a hero's journey, that yearning for something more.
And then enter the magician, the classic villain archetype.
Oh, yeah. He's looking for a simple-minded boy, and he finds Aladdin, and he pretends to be his uncle, even, hugs him and cries, totally fake, promising to help him and his mother.
Oh, that's low, playing on their vulnerability, promising them the world.
And he takes Aladdin on this journey out of the city, up into the mountains, to this really remote cliff.
Uh-oh, this is where things start to get a little spooky.
Definitely. The magician does this whole ritual with fire and chanting, and the ground splits open, revealing this deep grot, a cave.
Talk about dramatic, and I bet he doesn't tell Aladdin what's actually down there, right?
Oh, he gives him instructions, very specific ones. He has to go down into a golden chamber, then through an orchard, find a lamp on a stone, put out the flame, empty the oil, and bring it back.
Sounds simple enough, but I have a feeling there's more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, there's always more to it. And this orchard, it's magical. The fruits turn into jewels, apples become rubies, grapes become pearls, and so on.
No way, that's amazing. So Aladdin's down there surrounded by, mountains of treasure.
Exactly. And he finds this étincelant, sparkling ring too, slips it on his finger. Who wouldn't, right?
I mean, come on, if you find a magic ring in a cave of jewels, you're going to wear it.
You are, but this is where things get, tricky.
Oh, here comes the catch. I knew it.
Aladdin comes back to the entrance with the lamp, all loaded down with treasure, asks the magician for help getting out.
And the magician's true colors come out, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, he demands the lamp, won't help Aladdin until he gets it.
But Aladdin's not stupid. He's seen enough to know that something's fishy, right?
Right. He's wary, he refuses to hand over the lamp until he's safely out of the cave.
Good for him. Don't trust the sketchy magician.
Exactly, and the magician gets furious, calls Aladdin a petit imbécile, a foolish little boy, threatens to leave him there forever.
Oh, man, talk about a betrayal. So now Aladdin's trapped, all alone, in the dark, with only his wits and a magic ring.
And the lamp, don't forget the lamp. And in his despair, he rubs the ring and poof, the genie of the ring appears.
Oh, the plot thickens. Now we've got two jinn, and this one's bound to obey the wearer of the ring, right?
Exactly, but he's not as powerful as the genie of the lamp. He's more like a junior genie.
Okay, so Junior Genie, what can he do?
Well, he asks Aladdin, "Que voulez-vous?" which means, what is your desire? And Aladdin just wants to get back home to his mother.
Makes sense. He's been through enough already.
And poof, he's back home, safe and sound, but that's just the beginning of the story because now they've got the lamp.
Right, the lamp that the magician was so desperate to get his hands on.
And Aladdin's mother, she doesn't know it's magic. She thinks it's just an old, dirty lamp, so she starts polishing it.
Oh, classic mistake. You never know what you're going to unleash when you start cleaning old artifacts.
Exactly, and out pops the genie of the lamp, the big guy, and he asks the same question, "Que voulez-vous?"
I bet Aladdin's mom was terrified. She probably dropped the lamp and everything.
Oh yeah, she was shocked. But Aladdin, he remembers the ring genie, so he knows what to do, and he wishes for a festin satisfaisant, a huge feast.
Okay, that's a solid first wish. Got to get your priorities straight.
Food first, magic later, and the feast appears, enough food to last them for days.
Talk about an upgrade from their previous situation.
Talk about it. But Aladdin, he's got bigger plans. He's not content with just food.
Of course not. He's got a taste of the good life now. He wants more.
He does. And then he sees Princess Budir, the Sultan's daughter, giving out food to the poor, and he's smitten.
Love at first sight. Gotta love it.
And he tells his mother, "I'm going to marry her." Just like that.
Whoa, hold on. That's a pretty big leap, even with a magic lamp.
It is. His mother's like, "As-tu perdu la raison?" which is basically, have you lost your mind?
Understandable reaction, but she goes along with it, right?
She does. She gathers up all the jewels Aladdin brought back from the cave, goes to the Sultan, and asks for his daughter's hand in marriage for her son.
I bet the Sultan had a good laugh at that.
Oh, he did. He laughed. But then Aladdin's mother reveals the jewels, and he's très impressionné, very impressed.
The power of bling, it never fails.
But he's not just going to give his daughter away. He sets a challenge, a test for Aladdin. He has to deliver 40 trays of gold filled with even more jewels in 7 days.
That's a pretty steep dowry, even for a princess.
It is, but Aladdin, he's got the lamp.
Right. Time for the genie to work his magic again.
And he does. 40 trays of gold, overflowing with jewels, appear instantly.
I bet the Sultan's jaw hit the floor.
Pretty much. He's starting to take Aladdin seriously now, but he's not done yet.
There's got to be another test, right? Sultans love their tests.
Oh yeah, now he wants a palace, a magnificent palace, built before the end of the week.
Okay, that's a tall order, even with a magic genie on your side.
It is, but no problem for the genie. He builds this incredible palace right across from the Sultan's window, even creates a red carpet between them.
That's some serious magic. And I'm guessing Aladdin gets the girl.
He does. They get married, big celebration, the whole kingdom's invited.
So happily ever after, right?
Well, not so fast. Remember the magician?
Oh yeah, the one who got left in the cave. He's not going to be happy about this.
Not at all. He finds out about Aladdin's success, and he's furious. So he disguises himself as a colporteur, a peddler selling new lamps.
Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. And I bet he's got his eye on that magic lamp.
He does. He goes to Aladdin's palace while he's out hunting, and he tricks the princess.
Oh no, she doesn't trade the magic lamp, does she?
She does. She thinks she's doing a good deed, getting rid of an old lamp for a new one.
Classic fairy tale trope. Never underestimate the power of greed and deception.
And the magician, he gets the lamp, rubs it, wishes for the palace, the princess, everything, to be transported to a distant desert.
Talk about a rude awakening for Aladdin when he gets home from his hunting trip.
He's devastated, désemparé, he's lost everything.
But wait, he still has the ring, right?
He does, and he rubs it, wishes to be taken to his palace.
Junior Genie to the rescue.
He can't undo the lamp genie's magic, but he can transport Aladdin.
Good enough, at least he's reunited with the princess, but they're still stuck in the middle of nowhere.
They are, but the princess, she's resourceful. She comes up with a plan.
I like her already. What's the plan?
She makes a potion, a sleeping potion, and she puts it in the magician's soup.
Clever girl, outsmarting the villain.
And while he's asleep, she tricks him into giving her the lamp back.
Yes. Finally, the lamp is back where it belongs.
And she makes her wish. She wishes for everything to be returned to the Sultan's kingdom and for the magician to be left in the desert.
Boom, justice served, and they all lived happily ever after, right?
Well, almost. The Sultan eventually passes away, and he gives the kingdom to Aladdin and Budir.
Oh, that's sweet. So they went from rags to riches to royalty.
They did, and they ruled wisely and fairly.
So two very different stories, but both have that element of magic, of encountering the supernatural.
And both have trickery, deception, people trying to outsmart each other, but in different ways, right?
The leprechaun's trickery is more playful, while the magician is just straight up malicious.
And I think that reflects different cultural values, different ways of seeing the world, you know?
It's like the Irish have a certain acceptance of the unpredictable, while in Aladdin's world it's more about power and ambition.
And both stories have these really strong female characters. Colleen, who's learning about the magical world, and Budir, who's clever and resourceful.
That's a good point. They're not just damsels in distress. They're active participants in their own stories.
Exactly. And that's something we see in a lot of folklore, these strong female figures.
So we've journeyed from Ireland to the Middle East, encountered leprechauns and jinn, and learned a lot about different cultures along the way.
And it makes you wonder, what other stories are out there? What other insights can we gain from exploring the folklore of different cultures?
It's a never-ending adventure, and that's what makes it so exciting.
It is. There's always something new to discover.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive, but I encourage everyone listening to keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep digging deeper into the stories that fascinate you.
Because you never know what you might find.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you'll even uncover some magic of your own along the way.
I like that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time.
Yeah.